So I just finished watching this movie, a science fiction movie called Life, and I had heard that it was pretty good, and I have to say it was done very well. It was well acted, had really good effects, um, well written as well. And the thing that jumped out about it for me though was that it was showing me what would happen if well, okay, I'm gonna have to get into the plot, so spoiler alert. This basic story is that there's a team of scientists up on the International Space Station, and a probe is coming to the station from the surface of Mars, carrying a form of life that they've discovered there. And it's like a single cell organism. And so anyway, the probe brings it to the station, and the organism is in a dormant form, and so they try to study it and find out more about it and try to resuscitate it and get it growing. So the thing that really jumped out at me about the movie was that it really showed just what can result from having an overly optimistic kind of mindset. Because from the outset, the biologist that's in charge of the creature, he, from the very beginning, he was so fascinated and entranced by it that he was treating it like it was a little pet, a kitten or something. It basically be petting it and playing around with it, and you could see that nowhere in his thought process is he even recognizing that this thing could potentially be dangerous. And I guess that goes for the rest of the team as well, else they wouldn't have allowed him to be so careless with it. There's a scene early on in the when he's interacting with it where because of some carelessness on his part, there was a breach which could have led to a contamination. And so from that, it was said that, okay, we're going to have to follow protocol strictly and be more careful. But that didn't stop him from going on with the same kind of treating it like it's a pet. And as well as you would expect, things got out of hand and it started showing aggression. And when it did, they were totally unprepared for it. They were expecting the best. They fed the creature, they gave it what it needed, and were expecting that, oh, it would grow and they would learn more about it and it would learn about them. The idea that it could be hostile just didn't seem to enter their minds until it was much too late. And it makes that it's like, to me it makes no sense, but it's clear to me that there are a lot of people that think that way. And just to draw a parallel between this and the whole situation with illegal immigration, where people don't think it's necessary to secure the border and be able to, vet who is coming in because they believe the best about the immigrants. They are only seeing the best. They totally discount the idea that, yeah, sure, some of them are good people, but then some of them might be people that you really don't want in the country. All they're seeing is the bright side. All they're seeing is the potential of what the good ones could bring to the country, and they're totally ignoring the potential of what the bad ones could bring to the country. So it was interesting from that perspective because it really got me thinking about that. Once it got out, well, I won't give away the rest of the movie, but I mean, just think in terms of stuff we have on Earth. I mean, a lot of animals, a lot of really dangerous wild animals their babies are really cute, really sweet, but once they grow up, it's a totally different story. And one of the things that they had noted, the team among, was how fast it was growing and how quickly it was developing. And one would have thought that the idea that, okay, we don't know anything about this thing, it's an alien life form, who knows what capabilities it has, but there was a guy just treating it like it was some little kitten, and when it turned against him, they were totally unprepared, and they just couldn't deal with it. And I really think that that is exactly what would happen. I mean, what they really needed were, huh, I don't know, some more common sense, more skepticism, and the way things went down. I think if you had a bunch of people like that, that's exactly how it would have gone down. I mean, what they needed would have been more common sense, more skepticism, more pragmatism. It's kind of like, on one hand, there's just scientific curiosity that they want to learn everything they can, which is understandable. But then on the other hand, they also seem to be so optimistic. I mean, I just can't imagine why you would expect that this thing wouldn't be dangerous. I mean, and there's a kind of lip service that they gave to the idea of it being dangerous, in that they realized when protocol wasn't being followed properly, and they wanted to make sure those controls were followed to the T. But at the same time, the way in which the biologist was interacting with it, regardless of any protocols, is just reckless. And they should have realized that. And I think a healthy dose of skepticism, a healthy dose of, well, I wouldn't say paranoia, but just realizing that you have no idea what you're dealing with. So you have to be a lot more cautious, a lot more careful. Don't get me wrong, that didn't prevent me from enjoying the movie. It's just that it's just that I guess it's teaching a life lesson to all of the people who would want to think that we don't have to worry about illegal immigration, we don't have to have security on the border, because all they can see is the best of whoever is coming across. They're not seeing the bad side. They're not seeing the people that you really don't want coming over. They're seeing the hard workers, the young families who just want a better life, and are conveniently ignoring the reality of those who have more nefarious ambitions. So yeah, that's the movie. I mean, all in all, I really enjoyed it, except one of the things that I didn't like, and I'm sure that's something that I'm going to criticize a lot of movies for, was a lot of unnecessary harsh language, a lot of four-letter words, which really were totally unnecessary in my estimation. I mean, the movie did a really good job of setting up tension and making you really feel the stress and the hazard of the situations, and it just wasn't necessary, in my view, for there to be so much swearing in there. And I guess it comes down to a few things, one of them being that society here in the States is so coarse nowadays that all that kind of language, people just use it habitually in daily conversation anyway. So maybe the writers aren't even aware, or it could just be laziness, lack of imagination. I don't know. But yeah, that's something that I really didn't like. It was just unnecessary, and the movie would have been just as intense without all of that. So anyway, that's what I thought of it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and especially let me know what you think about the parallel I drew with illegal immigration and that kind of pie in the sky, overly optimistic liberalism, which I think is a real danger for the country. And I'll see you on the next one.